Hi guys, here's your review for your difference of two squares um, assessment, okay? So we need to know what our perfect squares are. I've included here 11 through 11 times 15 through 15, right? So you have 121, 144, 169, 196, and 225, okay? So those are for any of your whole numbers or coefficients. For variables, we're only concerned about even exponents, right? If your exponent is not even, then it's not perfect. And when we factor those for a difference of two squares, we're going to divide by 2, right? Okay. So for example, you have 16x to the 6th. This is perfect because it's 4x to the 8th times 4x to the 8th. So we're saying here 4 times 4 is 16. And then using your exponent rules, 8 plus 8 is that exponent of 16 right there, okay? Whereas similarly, 49x to the 49th, that's not perfect. Now why? 49 is a perfect square. That's 7 times 7. But the x to the 49th is not even. So just because it's perfect here does not mean that it's perfect there. That guy's got to be even in order for it to be perfect. Okay. When we are factoring a difference of two squares, you need 3 things, right? You need a subtraction, you need 2 terms, and both of those terms need to be perfect squares. Okay, so subtract. It's in the title. It's a subtraction of 2 terms that are perfect squares. Okay, so for your first example, x squared, perfect square. 144, perfect square. There's your 2 terms that are perfect squares, and we are subtracting. Okay, so you have 2 sets of parentheses when you've identified that you have a difference of 2 squares, and then x squared goes to x and x because I'm just dividing that by 2. And the 144 is perfect because it's a 12 times 12. And in a difference of 2 squares, we do 1 addition and 1 subtraction, and that's it. Okay, so cut that exponent in half. That goes in the front. Okay, and then the 144 is the 12 times the 12. Okay, on this next one, okay, you have the whole number is in the front. So when you factor that, your whole number is going to be in the front of your parentheses as well. Okay, so you have 196 is perfect, y to the 10th is perfect because it's even, and I have subtraction, right? So again, I'm going to do both of my sets of parentheses, okay? And what gives me 196? That was 14 times 14. And what gives me y to the 10th? I cut that in half, so it's y to the 5th and y to the 5th. And again, 1 gets plus, 1 gets minus, okay? On this one, you have 4x to the 8th minus 81 y to the 16th, right? So all of this is perfect. The 4 and the x to the 8th is perfect, and the 81 and the y to the 16th is perfect, and I am subtracting. So again, you set up your 2 sets of parentheses, right? And what times what gives me 4? That's 2 times 2, and the x to the 8th comes from x to the 4th and x to the 4th because I'm just dividing that by 2, okay? The 81 is 9 times 9, and then the y to the 16th, you're cutting that in half. Yes, I know it's a perfect square. As a coefficient, it's 4 times 4, but as an exponent, I cut it in half, and it's y to the 8th and y to the 8th, okay? Don't let that fool you. One of them is plus, one of them is minus. Also notice too, you have an 8 here that you cut in half to get 4 and 4. You have a 16 here that can't also be a 4 and a 4. You can't have the same exponents from 2 different previous exponents, okay? So remember, cut the exponents in half only. All right, take your time. Your assessment's due by 10 o'clock tonight. And if you have any questions, see the discussion board. Okay? Bye.